I'm here with Chris Letchford, guitarist of Scale the Summit. He's currently on tour with Fair to Midland and Periphery. They just played here in Madison and got off the stage not too long ago. It was an excellent show, by the way. So thanks for coming and talking with me, Chris.
Cool, yeah, definitely. I'm glad you enjoyed the show.
Yeah, definitely. You know, you guys played mostly material from your latest album, The Collective, which came out March 1st via Prosthetic Records. I'd like to talk about that album for the most part today. When I was listening to The Collective, it seemed like you guys adopted a more mellow and even dark, at times, sound on the album. Like the intro track, Colossal, for instance. Was that something you guys were trying to bring out?
No. It wasn't intentional, but like I've been telling like everybody that's been asking me about it, I don't want to write the same record twice. So I don't know what happened. I think after I finished Carving Desert Canyons, before it even came out, we were done in the studio already, I wrote The Levitated, which is super dark in the beginning. It has like the very carnival bass line and stuff like that. So that and Immersion. And Immersion, it's got really dark. I mean, it's got chromatic notes in the beginning. So I had originally written that, and it was also super dark. And then I think after that, everything, and then I think I wrote Secret Earth, which chilled out. It was super mellow, super slow and stuff. But I don't know, just mixing it up, and I think it happened unintentionally, but it happened for the good, I think, because, you know, we don't want to write Carving Desert Canyons 2, you know. So it's cool. I mean, it's interesting to be able to play, like, a mix. So, like, the next tour, we're probably going to bring back 2 of songs off Carving Desert Canyons, you know, to, like, mix it up. So it'll be a lot faster tempo, a lot more technical, I think, in terms of speed, I guess. But the new record's still definitely technical. It has its moments. But, I don't know, it's cool playing, like, a different vibe for once, you know, just change it up.
Well, it definitely still sounds like Scale the Summit, even with these different aspects to it. Another thing about the album I really enjoy, though, is that the songs seem to flow together great. Like, one song will climax, and then, you know, the next one will start more mellow. From what you just said, it doesn't seem really like you planned it out that way, but it feels really smooth.
I think that's another natural progression stage, like me growing older, getting better at songwriting, more experience. I think it just naturally happened. That's why I'm like really excited to see what happens for the next record, which I already, obviously I'm always writing. I already have stuff started. But yeah, I think one of the things that we all felt lacked a little bit in Carving Desert Canyons was dynamics. So we wanted to make sure to have, like, you know, softer parts. I think it was just like kind of pounding in the face, like technical and melodic the entire time, that, you know, we weren't really thinking about it. It was definitely a step up dynamically from Monuments, you know, but I think now, I think we're like all on the same page songwriting wise. You know, I organize and write all the guitars start to finish, and then I hand it off to Pat and Jordan. I'm like, okay, you know, do your thing. And I kind of tell them, like, this part's maybe more quiet, you know, this part, and, you know, they'll have their own ideas too, and they're like, well, what if we did this and this and this, you know, and we'll change stuff, delete stuff. But usually it's pretty much like 95% where it was when I wrote it. So it's really cool, I think. But like I said, we're on the same page now. You know, this is our 3rd record, you know, starting to write the 4th, you know, in a few months or whatever. But yeah, I think it was definitely like natural progression, just me getting older and better, more experience.
So do you think your guitar playing is better on The Collective than Carving Desert Canyons?
I have more shred-like moments in my solos on this record. The other ones were technical in the right, that like the composition was like way more complex and actually harder to play. The new one is like, I guess the solos like are written more mature, I guess. I think my playing matured more on the new record. And like the riffs and, like you said, like the organization of the songs, where there's like slow parts build to a climax, you know, ending, and then just some parts that are just like drastic from super heavy and aggressive to just clean, like the end of Wales. It just like, it's super aggressive, the most aggressive riff in that song, and then all of a sudden it just flattens out and it's just all like wavy, you know. But as far as like stepping stuff up, I think my solos have stepped up, and like I said, we'll always have like super technical moments, but I do want to write just like a nuts solo one day, just because we do it. You didn't get to see it tonight, but we actually play Origin of Species, and at the end it fades out on the record. We actually jam back and forth, me and Travis do. So we'll do like a slow section, and then he'll do a slow section, and then he'll do a fast section, and I'll do a fast section. And I'm talking like, it's just
like Ingvar
retarded.
Malmsteen.
Yeah, it's like retarded. It's like, yeah, it's super fast, shreddy stuff. Just for the sake of doing it. It fits the song. The song is so aggressive and fast tempo that I'm like, okay, let's jam this out live. That was the intention. So, because a lot of people actually been posting about that they wish that song was longer and that it didn't fade out, but that was the intention, was to jam out it live. So, because we love that riff at the end. So,
I've also been wondering where the title of the album comes from.
Okay, this is where it got complicated. Okay, we got the 4 guys. We're all writing together. You know, like the music comes together. It's a bunch of small parts put together, forms a whole. That forms the collective, right? And that was the idea for the title. But then what came into play was, how in the hell are we going to make this have artwork that matches the title and actually makes sense for our band? So that's when I leaned to our design guy who did the Carving Dusty Canyons photography, and he worked out like the text and all that. It wasn't really artwork, but this time I was like, look, I want to have real artwork, no photography. You know, we love the photography. We're probably going to do the next record, real photography. But then I told him, okay, it's called a collective. What the hell are we going to do now? Because I have no ideas. Usually I am always the guy who has the idea. I know exactly what. I had no ideas this time. So he came out with the idea. There's a thing in nature where when plants grow, they have a bunch of tiny little parts that form like a symmetrical shape. And it's called a phyllotaxis spiral, and it's actually written in the booklet, because I wanted to explain to people so they knew. And what it is it's just a bunch of tiny little pieces that when you look at the plant from the top, it actually forms like that spiral shape that's kind of on the cover, right? So since we've always been like organic, nature based, it's kind of cool to have like a real artwork photo, but still ties into nature, and you know, in a very like indirect way where not too many people would know unless we, you know, had it written in the booklet. So that's where that came about. And when he sent me that, I was just like, lifesaver, man. I was like, that's the greatest idea that he's ever done for me. And he really saved me there, because I was stressed. I think we were like a month away or something from needing to have like artwork finished, no ideas, you know, and we probably would have just leaned somehow to photography, and it probably wouldn't have made any sense. But when he said that, I was like, that's perfect. He's like, cool, let me show you some demos of what I was thinking, you know, and he showed me, and I was just like, oh, it's going to be fantastic. You know, so.
And to me, it seems like the artwork really fits the music too. How it's a little more, you know, chill and
dark.
Exactly.
Yeah,
and
the cover definitely looks a little bit darker with like the darker browns, and it's got more of like a moody vibe, like versus the other one's just like epic. You know,
right.
Pictures, so
you have the
great,
huge mountain or those canyons.
Yeah.
Definitely.